A very good afternoon on this beautiful Thursday, the 13th of January 2022. My name is Patricia Lokomampango and this is your lunchtime news. And straight away into what's making headlines, the Vice President Jessica Alupo has directed parents and student authorities to work in harmony to ensure that the government-faced system of reopening schools is implemented accordingly. The Vice President made the remarks during an impromptu school inspection visit to Okorimongen Primary School in Katakwi District.
Last Monday, as schools reopened for the learners, Okorimongen Primary School in Katakwi District was blessed to host Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo, who randomly chose to visit the school to the excitement of the pupils and the teachers. The school, which had a population of 636 pupils before the lockdown, only realized a handful turn up on the first day. The pupils warmly welcomed the Vice President and freely interacted with her as they keenly observed and admired her as well. Before her visit to the school, Vice President Alupo had remarked at a function in Olilim village on the need for parents and teachers to work together if the phased reopening of schools is to be realized.
Actually, now the schools should be overwhelmed because the children are anxious to return to school. And I request that all the pregnant girls, even those who delivered, must be taken to school. They will be taken care of. It is not something that it's a laughing matter, but people can cancel them so that they can benefit from UPE and USE. Again, I would like to request that in schools of USE and UPE, no charges should be levied on the children. No child should miss school because people are wasting time trying to scratch things to cost the children to pay, and yet government has already paid their school fees. Children without uniform, children without shoes, even a child without a book on day one can fast attend. Then tomorrow you tell the child, you tell your father to buy you an exercise book and a pencil because you have come, you have attended, but you cannot write notes. Let the child first be in class at school as long as the teacher is standing in front of the children. That's how we can help them. Some things can be sorted as the children are moving on.
On 10th January 2022, as children endeavored to report to school, one Samuel Okror, a parent of Moroto Ame Primary School, was grateful to the government for reopening the schools. As the schools now reopen, the task lying ahead of the school's management is the implementation of standard operating procedures SOP. Etole Ed Akengel, UBC News.
Now, members of parliament have faulted religious leaders for attempting to deny expectant schoolgirls access to education. The legislators argue that the expectant young students have the right to education just like their other counterparts. The concerns follow arguments by religious leaders on the challenge of pregnant girls and how they are likely to face while in school.
In English?
Even when a section of some religious leaders have of late discouraged the idea of expectant young mothers returning to school, the debate has not ended. Members of parliament have weighed in to disagree with the clergy.
You know, learning is a psychological behaviors. Your mind psychologically must be settled and focused into education.
They have to be counseled, they have to be supported, and at the same time they should be given facilities, which facilities can enable them to cope with the situation they are in to learn.
The legislators across the political divide argue that denying girls a second chance is an infringement on their right of access to education.
Those religious leaders who are saying
that pregnant girls should not be allowed in school are not fair. They are not fair, and I don't agree with them. Now, what if the one who impregnated them is also in the same school? Will he be allowed or will be stopped?
And by the way, if you are to conduct research, you never know. Such religious leaders could have been produced by such children. So, I don't see why they are talking about blocking children from going back to school.
Whereas legislators admit that the situation of the affected girls could be challenging while in school, some have suggested solutions.
Their future is the future of this country. So every pregnant young girl, every young child mother, every young child father must be given opportunity. Education has no age.
If government wants them to be in school, for example, if in a school where more than 10 or 15 of those kind of people who are pregnant, let government organize for them a separate class. Let their teaching be given separately from the continuing children who are not pregnant.
These arguments come just a few days since schools were opened after 2 years of lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, government through the health development partners has secured 1,435 fridges for the storage of vaccines in different health facilities across the country, and 5 walk-in cold chain to be installed at the regional referral hospitals. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Rotha Cheng, launched the distribution of the cold chain equipment at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds in Kampala.
Vaccines have specified temperatures under which they need to be stored in order to remain effective. Government, under the Cold Chain Equipment Optimization Project supported by the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, Gavi, and other partners, has received equipment worth $8.3 million. The equipment, totaling to over 1,000, will be distributed to both public and private health facilities across the country.
We have 1,435 fridges to be installed in the cities and district vaccine stores, lower level health facilities, the public ones, health center 3s and 4s, as well as the private not-for-profit and the private for-profit facilities at health center 3 level up to health center 4 level.
The aim is to increase availability and access to vaccines at all levels across the country.
Because of effective interventions like the immunization and definitely with other health improvements, because of these interventions, life-saving interventions, in 6 years, Uganda was able to bring down child mortality by 2/3. A very remarkable change within 6 years. In 2016, the child mortality rate was reduced from 151 to 61 per 1,000 live deaths. Assessments in Uganda show that 30% of children who are not vaccinated had the opportunity to be vaccinated, but they couldn't be because vaccines would not be available in some of the health facilities as a result of lack of cold chain equipment.
Now that the storage of vaccines has been improved, government is in advanced stages of adding yellow fever vaccination to the routine immunization schedule.
I want to believe, and I think it is true, that we are about to introduce the yellow fever vaccine into the routine schedule. So the challenge of getting yellow fever vaccine will soon be history.
It is expected that health facilities will have the utility cost for maintaining the cold chain reduced, since some of the equipment supplied is solar powered. Adiana Kote, UBC.
State Minister for Education and Sports Joyce Mariku Karichu has warned schools soliciting for COVID-19 testing charges to stop with immediate effect. She was officiating a surveillance system meeting at Makerere University.
During the week of reopening schools, Ministry of Education trained different people on the surveillance system to help them monitor different schools as one method of curbing COVID-19 in schools. The State Minister of Education and Sports, Joyce Moriku Kaduchu, says this has been done to detect cases of COVID-19 as early as possible to avoid issues of outbreaks.
Each district has got the biostatistician where data is going to be entered, and this is going to do on daily basis at 3 p.m. By 3, all the information. And it helps us to monitor every day on daily basis, district by district, not centralized.
Minister Kaduchu asked parents and caretakers to make it a point to be vaccinated in order to save school-going children.
Parents all to be vaccinated. And we're ensuring that the parents are fully vaccinated. The children can get infections and they take back home. But for the nursery children, remember, these are groups of children that has got more stronger protective in terms of immunity.
At the same event, Kaduchu warned school heads against COVID-19 testing charges in schools.
People are too stubborn. School owners are very stubborn. But we are coming for them, by the way. Already for the school charges, we have offered strict guidelines. For those who are testing, we talked, they don't listen. We'll come for them.
Some schools had even positioned lab people, and they were asking parents to pay some money. That one we have shared the communication with the schools. Testing will not be done by the schools.
The Commissioner, Reproductive and Child Health Ministry of Health, Dr. Jessica Nsungwa Sabiti, is concerned on the low levels of communication in schools that has resulted into zero-case reporting. Jessica has asked schools to set up isolation centers for students who test positive to easier Ministry of Health works.
We are doing zero reporting. Even if you don't see a case in a day, you have to report. So we don't want to hear that somebody has decayed, whatever. Even if you have no case, every school should report whether they have a symptomatic case. And the whole outbreak and investigation system, what we want from schools is to set up an isolation place. But also schools must have a school attendance policy. If I'm sick and I'm a day scholar, when do I come back?
Test kits to detect any disease, including malaria in schools, should be available to ease students' work as well as protecting them. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Kampala Grade 1 Magistrates Court has set 20th January 2022 for the hearing of the case where 8 suspects are accused of attempted murder of General Katumba Wamala, murder of his daughter Brenda Nantongo and his driver Haruna Kayondo. Meanwhile, self-proclaimed lawyer Hassan Malay Mabidizi filed another case against NUP President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu of obtaining registration by false pretense and giving false information to the government of Uganda.
Yesterday afternoon, Kampala Grade 1 Magistrates Court failed to commit the 8 accused persons facing charges of attempted murder of General Edward Katumba Wamala, murder of his daughter Brenda Nantongo, and driver Haruna Kayondo in the International Crime Division Court in Kololo. This followed when prosecution brought new charges against the accused, which move was objected to by the accused's lawyers. Although prosecution led by Barbara Chomugisha was given adequate time to highlight him on these charges, all was in vain, which prompted the presiding magistrate in this court, Posiano Odori, to adjourn the matter. Wednesday afternoon, Magistrate Posiano Odori, although he was set to go on with the hearing of this case, this was impossible due to the absence of the accused persons in court. The court lacked electricity.
Another important thing, they had sneaked in new charges, approximately 6 of them. Out of the 6, 4 were on murder, 1 was on aggravated robbery, which we are not earlier on in the amended on the previous amended charge sheet. Some of the charges had been dropped, of course, which is an advantage to us. For example, the one of attempted murder of General Katumba Wamala had been dropped, which was good, though we needed a proper confirmation by the state, which refused intentionally.
It's against this backdrop that
Court set 20th January 2022 to resume with the hearing of the matter.
We are optimistic that our clients will be released on bail. Secondly, we are sure that the state does not have enough evidence. As long as those 180 days lapse or the 6 months lapse, this Honorable Court or the Magistrate Court has full authority to hear our bail application, either to grant them or not to grant them.
In the meantime, the 8 accused persons who are set to be committed to the International Crime Division, yesterday they made 6 months in prison, as prosecution was still making investigations in this matter. In another development, Asani Malema Bidezi has filed another suit against the National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu of giving false information and obtaining registration by false pretense at Makerere University, where he acquired a diploma in music, dance and drama.
In his own signature, if confirmed being born in 1980. Third, that is again UNEB, his senior 6 registration slip, show 1980. And that's the Makerere University, which clearly indicated that he was born in 1980. Now, that contradiction of 2 years is what the crime is now. And we are saying that was illegal and contravenes the said sections 115 of the Penal Code Act, that is giving false information.
Mabirizi also filed a suit against Kyagulanyi Ssentamu for obtaining a driving license using forged documents. Or that Law Development Center, the Director of Public Prosecution Office, prayed to court to discontinue all the charges against Kyagulanyi. Mabirizi had this to solve this issue.
The jurisdiction of LDC court was because of the offense was connected to documents from Makerere University, but actually how Kyagulanyi got registered into Makerere University. Now we have a different matter now that we are looking at obtaining a driving permit. This driving permit was obtained from Kyambogo, Ministry of Works and Transport offices within the jurisdiction of this court.
Since the accused Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu failed to obey the summons issued against him, this time Malema Bidezi filed an application asking court to issue a warrant of arrest against Kyagulanyi to compel him to appear in court without fail. Asani Malema Bidezi filed this suit at Kampala Grade 1 Magistrate Court in Kampala. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Now, in the area of charity, a non-government organization, Lera Foundation, has committed to improving livelihoods of Uganda's elderly persons, starting with securing them with a COVID-19 vaccination. The target is on a third wave to Uganda's elderly, whose estimated figure is about 1.2 million people. The foundation coordinator, Juhi Barot, says this is fundamental to them, as is provision of basic needs, but importantly describes what charity should be like.
We all believe charity is about money, but charity is not about money. Charity is about taking your time out and meeting people you don't know, meeting strangers that you've never met in your life. Just what I learned from all this was, let's just give love. Love has magic that I don't think any materialistic form of money could ever have. So as humans, as good citizens, if you see someone on the road, if you see a jaja in the village or on anywhere, please take your time out, greet them. Because for these judges that we give all this to, they don't care about the posho and the beans and the rice they don't care about all that. What they care about is that there is this girl that comes and meets me, that comes and takes her time out and gives me the love. They just know that there is someone behind me that is thinking about me. And that power, that love, nothing beats that. So yes, please feel free. Donate, do anything that you can, do anything that makes you happy. Go and give them your time, because I think that's all that they need. That feeling of vulnerability that I always say, isolation is the biggest disease. Being lonely is one of the biggest diseases that a human could ever face. So please take them out of that lonely environment and give them love.
It's all for a good cause. Let's go take a short break and return with more news. Stay with us.
Everyone deserves more this festive season, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more thank you points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent locations. Get 150 thank you points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More thank you points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your thank you points, dial *141#.
Everywhere you go, MTN. Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay, FlexiPay or Bridge Schools. To pay school fees using FlexiPay, dial *185#. Select option 6 School Fees. Select option 3 FlexiPay. Enter the school code. Enter the student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Mohamed Salah, Naby Keita, Kalidou Koulibaly, Sadio Mane, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. When you hear these names, you may think you're probably watching the English Premier League or UEFA Champions League, but it's none of those. It's the 2021 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations from 9th January to February 6th, 2022. All these global elite football stars will be in Cameroon to grace the continent's most prestigious sporting event. 52 games, 24 countries, 1 continent, 1 trophy, 1 station, live, free and exclusive to your public broadcaster. UBC, inspiring Uganda. Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless. Ooh. Bloop. The thing goes clink, clink, clink. Woo. Pop, 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 pop. Whoosh, whoosh.
Grab an ice-cold bottle of Pepsi Max today and drink to your bold lifestyle. Enjoy maximum taste with no sugar. Now available at a shop near you. Maximum taste, no sugar.
Pay school fees conveniently using MTN Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Enter the student code provided by the school. It will show you the student name and the class plus outstanding balance. Enter the amount you want to pay. Enter PIN. You will get a notification confirming payment. It's simple, secure and convenient.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back from that short break. Let's continue with our business segment. Now, fish traders at Mpondwe border in Kasese district have threatened to demonstrate if government does not quickly address the issue of cross-border trade with DR Congo. They say a small clique of rich fish traders have taken over the fish market by transiting fish directly to DRC against the normal practice of offloading fish at the border.
Towards the end of last year, the State Minister for Fisheries, Honorable Helen Adoa,
opened the fish market at the Mpondwe border and ordered that fish be offloaded at the border to allow locals benefit from the business.
I am here today as a minister in charge of fisheries to reopen a fish market, and I declare this fish market open.
This has since not stood, since most fish trucks from neighboring countries directly take fish to the DRC, leaving the Congolese, who are the biggest customers of Ugandan fish, with no reason to come to Uganda. Ugandan fish traders have since threatened to stage a demonstration if the government does not handle the matter with urgency.
Enaku nga 3 mabega ebyennyanja ate bye Uganda byonna biri mu kujja direct kuva ku lakeside nga biyitawo buyisi wano ku katale nga bigenda direct Congo nga bitikulwa Congo.
These say their fish is rotting in stores with no one to buy, most of which is acquired through loans. These have now asked government to reopen the border but also regulate cross-border trade to all the local persons to benefit from the border merits.
Our fishmongers, we have no work nowadays because the big men, those who have a lot of money, they are taking the fish transit. So I'm requesting that we should be offloading the fish from here.
The resident district commissioner Kasese, Lieutenant Joy Walusimbi, appreciates the challenges that come with direct transit of fish to Congo, but quickly gives hope to the traders.
Construct a one-stop center of 20 billion. Those are 38 billion. So that's going to be wasted. Because without fish, and strongly believe that that market of ours will not operate. And at the same time, the local government here is losing local revenue. Because when it is operating, normally, they get 560 million.
Well, we hope that a lasting solution there is met. Uganda Petroleum Institute Kigumba is to have an ultra-modern multi-purpose hall. The facility, funded by the World Bank to a tune of 15.4 billion shillings, is part of a critical infrastructure at the campus geared at improving the learning environment. Let's hear more from Dennis Sigar.
I'm handing you a copy of the contract document itself with all the details.
Financed by the World Bank, the initiative is part of the Albertine Regional Sustainable Development Project, whose goal is to improve regional and local access to infrastructure, market and skills.
And it's going to be a very comprehensive building because it will have very many functions embedded in, which is not common in other institutions.
The construction of Uganda Petroleum Institute's Kigumba multipurpose hall will cost 15.4 billion shillings. Its completion time frame is 12 months.
This money is from a loan from the World Bank. So the World Bank is the funding entity. And specifically for this project, the Assistant Commissioner of Construction Management Unit will be the project manager. Contractor, I want to urge you that you will also cater for the local content during the employment. On site, we have the experts, but we have the wheelbarrow pushers. Those ones cannot be got from. We have them.
Located in Kiriandongo district, Uganda Petroleum Institute Kigumba is a skills development institution. In the recent years, the college has invested significant resources on infrastructure development in order to achieve international standards on oil and gas training.
We are still expecting, and we are expecting what? A university which was promised to the people of Kigumba. By His Excellency the President, he said a university is going to sit in this place. And
when completed, the multipurpose hall will be the biggest building in this vast compound. However, the contractor's ambitious construction company is cautioned against shoddy work. Abdul Nasir Lowama and Den Sigoa for UBC News.
Now, over 30,068 beneficiaries in 36 SACCOs are gradually adopting a savings culture in a bid to meet various financial needs of their enterprises. This is key finding that has been reported by Amiga officials while evaluating the performance of various SACCOs in Mubende and Mityana districts.
Before accessing the funds, more Amiga beneficiaries decried of stagnated finances in their businesses, coupled with high costs of borrowing from commercial banks and micro-lending institutions.
Already trying to now projects nzenganze zanyamba nokugulayo kasoro ne mustokinga eyanyamba okubati ndisa mu kisere kyali kyakazi
enkyukakyuka eriwo y'amaanyi ne capital okulaba nti twagaziyamu wano netwongeramu ne ku ngatto ne ku nsawo.
The Amiga program has so far benefited 36 SACCOs in both Mubende and Mityana districts, providing loans worth 1.8 billion shillings along with basic financial literacy skills to enable the revolving fund grow to serve its purpose.
Okugaggawala yeetaaga okuba nga alina akalima akayingiza ki sente bw'oba oli wano nga toyina kalimu konna kayingiza sente okulaba okuva n'enkya ng'olina akalimu bwakiri.
However, the need for mass sensitization of the program has been reiterated by district leaders, citing misinformation about the program being designed with political bias.
Ensonga y'okusomesa abantu bategeere enteekateeka ya gavumenti esaanye kugasa baliwa. Enteekateeka ya gavumenti egasa buli Munnayuganda. Oba oli wa FDC, oba oli wa DP, oba oli wa NRM, oba oli wa NOPU nganze. Osaana okuganirwa mu nteekateeka ya
Residents in Mubende and Mityana districts are encouraged to use entrepreneurship as means of economic empowerment for their families, more so leveraging agriculture because of the vast available land that supports the practice.
And in the world of sports, Uganda Judo Federation's dream of spearheading an important sport across the country has been boosted on two fronts: scholarship from the International Judo Federation and an offer from a sport enthusiast, Janek Novak, and his cause. The cause is for the smiles amongst Uganda's judo stakeholders. As we hear more.
3, 4, go!
The Judo Academy of Kibuli has benefited an assortment of sports gear from Czech national Janek Novak.
I am helping here with the Ugandan Judo. They have, as Mr. President said earlier, they have been here for 40 years, but pretty much stagnating. So since the lockdown is ending now and kids are coming back to school, we picked up the kids and gave them a place to train and to try a new sport. Because as President said, when he was young he played football because there was nothing else. Now we have Judo. And I hope these kids, they work very hard, they love to train, they obviously were very happy for the uniforms they got, which we call judogi in Japanese.
The offer targets youth that are pivotal for the sport's growth, as per plan by the local federation.
Tuyinjirira ekintu tulina okukigusa era bino bimulaba olwaliro gakyali mabaga. Tugenda kulaba nti judo gwe muzannyo ogwesimisa buli muntu.
The federation's bigger motive has also been boosted by the International Judo Federation, with the targets on school-going children.
The International Judo Federation yatuwadde scholarships yegenda kuwa obuyambi masomero okusooka 10 mu Uganda yonna. Naye olw'obusobozi nti tetulina buyambi bulala okujjawo ffe okukwata mu nsawo nga bwe tubadde tukola ne komiti yange nga myukiwa mukulu Jesper Ligaweesa tutaagadde tutandikire wano okumpimpi tunasobola.
Judo has been played by Ugandans for a while, but had never witnessed advancements as in the case now under the new federation leadership. The federation heads believe that if these projects of empowering the youth materialize, a place at the Olympics over the next 10 years isn't a distant reality. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Now, one of Uganda's longest-serving and finest defenders, Murushid Judo, has retired from international football. Murushid has since 2014 represented Uganda more than 50 times and was Uganda Cranes at the Africa Cup of Nations 2017 and 2019. Murushid Judo last played for Uganda last year during a World Cup qualifier game against Mali at St. Mary's Kitende. The game finished unceremoniously for him after a red card for elbowing Malian forward Ibrahim Kone. His action was deemed unsporting behavior